At welcome back sa isa namang ALS Tutorials. Ako nga pala ang yung ALS Tutor for today, Ma'am Nina Marnelli S. Castro. And before we're going to start with this lesson, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to answer your pre-tests, activities, and post-tests to the previous lesson. So let's start with our topic. So the lesson that we are going to discuss for today is what we call ecosystem, food chain, and food web. Ang ating ALS teacher writer for today ay walang iba kundi si Ma'am Caitlin S. Flores ng Florida Blanca District. Ang inyong ALS tutor for today ay walang iba kundi ako. At ang topic na ito ay napapaloob sa Learning Strand 2, Scientific and Critical Thinking Skills. So let's talk about our objective. After studying this module, you should be able to describe the different relationships among living organisms. So, malalaman natin dito at madidescribe natin kung ano nga ba ang relasyon ng bawat isang living organism sa isa't isa. And then, identify a trophic structure and its levels. So, ma-identify natin kung ano nga ba yung trophic structure at meron dito mga level. So, iisa-isayin natin sila. And lastly, we are going to differentiate a food chain from a food web. So, titignan natin kung ano nga ba ang pagkakaiba ng dalawa. So, meron akong tanong dito, guys. At ang tanong ko ay, what is ecosystem? Meron na ba kayong idea kung ano nga ba ang ecosystem? Alina't pag-usapan natin. Ecosystem, it is a community or group of living organisms that live in and interact with each other in a specific environment. So, ibig sabihin, isa silang group of living things, mga buhay na organism na nakatira sa isang community at nakakapag-interact sila sa bawat isa. So, tignan nga natin sa picture na to. Identify kung ano nga ba yung mga living things na nakikita natin. So, yung mga living things na nakikita ko dito sa picture na to, meron tayong mga animals, meron tayong mga plant, ayan, yung water. Yan yung mga living things na nakapaligid sa isang ecosystem. Alright? So, next. So, meron tayong introduction dito. Sabi, in nature, organisms have different relationship with one another. So, meron pala silang kanya-kanyang relasyon sa bawat isa. Ano nga ba yung mga relasyon na yon? Sabi, these relationships determine the kind of life they live and their survival. So, ma-identify natin kung ano nga ba yung kanilang buhay at paano sila nagsusurvive sa araw-araw. And then, when two different kinds of organisms live close to each other, their relationship is called symbiosis. So, pag pala malapit yung organism sa isa't isa, yung tawag sa relasyon na yon is symbiosis. So, meron na ba kayong idea ano nga ba yung symbiosis? Alina't talakayin natin. What is symbiosis? Ano nga ba sa symbiosis? Alina't pag-aralan natin kung ano nga ba sa symbiosis. Symbiosis is classified into predation, parasitism, commensalism, and mutualism. So, naka-classified pala siya into 4. And then, this relationship range from mutually beneficial to harmful or even fatal from one of the species. So, ibig sabihin, pwede siyang beneficial or pwede siyang nakaka-alarm or alarma sa isang living organism. So, meron akong example dito ng symbiosis. Ayan. Si fish is living together with the coral. So, let's talk about this 4 types of symbiosis. So, the first one is what we call predation. So, let's talk about what is the predation and its meaning, right? So, this relationship is characterized by one organism killing another for food. So, ibig sabihin, yung isang organism, ikikil niya yung isa pang organism para gawin niyang pagkain ito. And the one who benefit is called the predator. So, yung pumapatay ng isang organism, yun yung tinatawag nating predator. And the one used for food naman, yung kakainin ni predator, ang tawag natin doon is prey. So, meron akong example picture dito ng isang predator at isang prey. So, here at the picture, you can see the acting as predator here is the snake and the prey is the mouse. So, ano nga ba yung ginagawa niya? The snake is eating the rat because yun yung source of living niya. That is their source of survival. Kailangan nilang pumatay ng isa pang living organism para makapag-survive sila sa isang ecosystem. Okay? So next, I do have another example. So si lion is our acting as predator, and then si deer naman is our prey. And then again, ang ginagawa nila is to make their living para mag-survive sila sa wild, di ba? Alam naman natin na yung lion, once nakakita siya ng kahit na anong living things na para sa kanya is nakakabusog, lalo na pag gutom yan, they're going to catch that another living organism to make it their food, no? Okay? Let's talk about the parasitism. What is parasitism? Meron na ba kayong idea? So let's talk about it. This relationship occurs when one organism benefits at the expense of another. So kumbaga, si organism is magbe-benefit siya and then yung isa is magpaparaya. So dito sa parasitism, there's no killing here, no? And another one, a parasite is an organism that depends on the host for its survival. So si parasite, nakadepend lang siya dun sa host, kung sino yung nagbibigay sa kanya ng food para makapag-survive siya. And then, the host is the organism that loses something because of the presence of parasite. So, kumbaga, si host natin is the sacrificial lamb na tinatawag nila. So, let's see the example here. Ayan. Ano mga ba yung mga itim-itim na yon? That's what we call leech. Ayan, human and leech. So, anong ginagawa ni leech? Sumisip-sip siya ng dugo para makapag-survive siya. And the host here, the acting host, is the human. Okay? And I do have another example here. Yan, meron tayong what we call the parasite or the lice, yung kuto, and sa buhok. Diba? Nakatira yan sa ulo ng isang living organism. Yan, meron tayong iba't ibang klase ng mga parasite sa ating katawan. Yan, may kuto tayo. And then, saan sila nakatira? Sa buhok. Ano yung survival nila is yung ating ulo, kukuha sila ng food dyan, yung magsisipsip ng dugo. So, that's what you call parasitism. Okay? So, let's move to the commensalism. This is a kind of relationship where one of the partners benefits while the other is neither help nor harm. So dito pala sa commensalism, partner dapat sila. So it's either nakakatulong or nakakapahamak, no? So let's see the pictures here. Ayan, there you go. So I have here a orchid and the tree. Ma'am, paano nagiging commensalism yan, si orchids and tree? So sabi ko nga kanina, dapat partner yung commensalism. So si orchid and tree, di ba? Usually, linalagay natin yung orchid sa isang halaman o kaya sa isang bunot para makapag-survive siya and of course, para makapamulaklak siya. So for this example, our partners are benefiting each other. Hindi sila nakaka-harm, no? Ayan, I do have another example here. Remora and the shark. So si Remora, ayan lang siya, nandyan lang siya. Lagi siyang nakadikit kay shark para ma-benefit niya yung mga yung mga algae niya dyan sa katawan niya, kinakain niya. Kumbaga, yung source of food niya na kay shark, no? And then si Remula, yung magbe-benefit since partner sila. For this example, hindi rin siya nakaka-harm. It benefit each other to make them survive. And then, let's talk about the mutualism. Ayan. Ano nga ba ang mutualism? Mutualism is characterized by two organisms living together and both benefiting from the relationship. So, parang mutual understanding lang niya. Nakatira tayo sa isang ecosystem and we both benefit to each other. In some cases, the mutual relationship becomes so important that neither can live without the other. Parang sinasabi nito that I can't live without you, no? So, ibig sabihin, silang dalawa, partner sila, nagbe-benefit sila into each other. So, let's see my example here or the picture. Ayan. So, I do have a bee and a flower. So, si bee, nagbe-benefit siya by getting the pollen of the flower. And then, si flower naman, nagbe-benefit siya kasi iniiwanan niya ng vitamin C flower. Okay? So, I hope klaro lahat yung types ng symbiosis, no? And now, let's talk about the trophic structure. Next, the trophic comes from the word trop, which means nourishment. So, nagkakaroon na ba kayo ng a little idea regarding sa trophic structure? So, let's talk about it further. Ayan. Nature, in all its complexity and wonder, follows certain pattern in getting things done. So, kumbaga, si trophic structure, pinapalo niya yung mga patterns na yan para matapos yung isang cycle. One of this pattern is what we call feeding or for short, trophic structure. Ma'am, ano po yun? Hindi masyadong malinaw. Ganito lang yan. Meron siyang pattern para malaman natin kung paano nagbe-benefit or nagno-nourish sa isa't isa yung mga organisms sa ating ecosystem. So, let's talk about it. We do have autotrophs. Auto means self. Hence, autotrophs refers to an organism that can produce its own food. So, ibig sabihin, nagpo-provide siya ng pagkain niya para sa sarili niya. So, let's see what is autotrophs, okay? Alright, there you go. Ayan. So, plants are autotrophs. Wow! Yung mga alamans pala natin dyan is a great example of autotrophs. Paano yun, Bob? And sabi dito, because they have the capability to produce food by utilizing the energy from the sun. So, meron kasi siyang abilidad para mag-produce ng pagkain niya sa pamamagitan ng araw. Plants are referred to as the producer. So, sila pala yung nagpo-produce ng energy, and then, si plants naman is ino-observe na yun. In the trophic structure, they are found at the bottom of the structure, implying that everything is start from them. So, ibig sabihin, si plant is found as the bottom structure kasi sa kanya lahat nag-i-start sa plant. So, let's see. Ayan. So, sa picture na to, kung makikita niyo yung cursor ko, meron tayong halaman dito or what we call plant. Ayan. So, i-absorb niya si light energy with the carbon dioxide which is available at kailangan nila yan. And then, meron tayong water dito sa ibaba and also the minerals. Once the plant absorb all of these, it can produce its own food. Kumbaga, makakapag-survive na siya kasi makakapag-produce siya ng sugar. Diba? Kung mapapansin nyo, yung mga plants natin, lalong-lalo yung mga gulay, diba? Matamis pag bagong pitas. And of course, not only sugar, but also oxygen, which is yung ginagamit natin para makahinga tayo. Yun ang produce ni plant. And then, this food-making process is called photosynthesis. This is a complex process in which the leaves of plants use light energy from the sun to produce chemical that can be utilized as food. So, katulad nga ng diniscuss ko kanina, once na inabsorb na ni plant yung light energy ng sun, and of course, yung carbon dioxide and water, makakapag-produce siya ng chemical para sa kanyang pagkain, para ma-utilize niya yung pagkain niya. Okay? Alright? Let's talk about what we call heterotrophs. So, hetero means different. And then, kung kanina, meron tayong autotrophs, which gumagawa siya ng sarili ng food with the help of the sunlight. This heterotrophs implies that animals need to get food from a different species from their own. Nagkabaliktad lang. This means that the animals need to get a food from a different species from their own. So, ibig sabihin, once we say heterotrophs, si isang species, nakadepende siya sa isa pang living things para mag-survive siya. So, I do have an example here. Yan. The best example for these heterotrophs is the animals. So, huwag kakalimutan, autotrophs, the best example is the plant, and sa kanila nanggagaling lahat. Heterotrophs is animals. Okay? So, let's see the picture. Ayan. Caterpillar is our primary consumer. And the leaf here is acting as the producer. Okay? So, here, our secondary consumer here ay yung tinatawag nating small bird. And si Caterpillar is our acting na producer na sa second picture. So, parang nagkaka-idea tayo kung paano yung pattern ni trophic structure, no? Huwag niyong kakalimutan, si trophic structure, meron tayong pattern na sinusunod para mabuhay yung cycle. Meron tayong cycle na sinusunod. So, si caterpillar, kinain niya yung leaf, and then, si caterpillar naman is nakain ng bird. And then, our next pattern is ayan. The tertiary consumer natin dyan is the eagle or the big bird. And then, yung kinain niya is the small bird. Nakikita niyo yung pattern? Leaf, caterpillar, caterpillar, small bird into eagle or big bird. And then, next pattern, we do have the decomposer. Bakit decomposer? So, once na namatay na si what we call eagle, madidecompose na siya. Okay? So, nakikita niyo yung pattern. Meron tayong 4 na pattern dito. And then, that's what we call the trophic level. And nakapaloob siya kay food chain. So, as we discussed earlier, meron tayong producer. Ano nga ba ulit yung producer natin doon sa example natin? So, we do have the leaf. And then the primary consumer, which is the caterpillar. And then the secondary consumer natin is the small bird. And then tertiary consumer natin is our eagle. And then after that, ma-decompose na siya. Siyempre, once na na-decompose na si eagle, magkakaroon siya ng maliliit na living things. Maraming pwedeng mabuong living things dyan, yung mga bacteria, yung mga worms, and then, babalik na naman siya as a producer. And then, primary, consumer, secondary, tertiary, kumbaga, nakacycle lang sila. And then, that's what we call the trophic level under the food chain. Malinaw ba? Alright. So, let's now talk about the food chain. In ecology, the sequence of transfer of matter and energy in the form of food from organism to organism. So, in our example, we do have that different types of organism. And we see the process on how the trophic level flows. So here, sabi nga si ecosystem, it is the transfer of matter and energy as a form of food. So, yung kinain ng isa, tapos kakainin, and then kakainin. And that is the sequence of transfer under food chain. Ayan. I do have another example here. So here, the primary producer is like the corals, yung mga halaman sa dagat, and then the primary consumer is yung mga maliliit na isda. Yan, meron tayong shrimp, meron tayong iba't ibang klase ng maliliit na isda na matatagpuan sa dagat. And then after that, meron tayong secondary consumer, which is yung mas malaking konti sa ating primary consumer na gagawin silang food. And then, we do have this another bigger fish as the tertiary consumer. And then, meron na naman tayong quaternary consumer. And then, ito yung sequence ni food chain. Nakikita natin, meron siyang sequence. Kumbaga, they use each other or they're benefiting each other in a harmful way. Because each living things benefit each other, whether it is harmful or helpful. So, in this case, kay food chain, nagbe-benefit sila into each other in a harmful way. Kumbaga, kung kaya niyang ipasok, sabi nga dun sa mga alaga kong isda, kung kaya niyang ipasok sa bibig niya, kakainin niya. Kumbaga, ano sila, no? Meron tayong acting as predator and meron tayong acting as prey. Okay? And that is the sequence of food chain. Okay? And then, I do have a question here. Okay? What is the difference of food chain and food web? Do you have any idea? Ma'am, hindi mo naman po na-discuss yung food web. Oh, let's see. Food web is a group of food chain linked together. Kumbaga, si food web yung pinakamalaki. Kanina pinag-usapan natin yung sequence ni food chain. Ngayon, ang pag-uusapan natin in this one is the food chain. This is a group of food chains linked together. Kumbaga, nakalink lahat ng mga living organism and species sa kanila, and then they use or they benefits each other to make it as a food or a form of food. Okay? I do have an example of picture here. Yes, this is a great example of food web. Ma'am, paano nangyaring food web yan? Ganito lang yan. They benefit each other. They are linked together. Saan mo makikita lahat ng mga living organism na yan? So, makikita natin lahat yan usually sa gubat. So, sa gubat, meron tayong first, yung ating autotrophs, which is the halaman. So, si halaman, sino pwedeng kumain dyan? Si caterpillar. Yan. Si bird, pwedeng kumain ng halaman. Ayan, yung small animal. Okay? For this one naman, kay bird, pwede siyang kainin ni fox, and then ni snake, and then from that, and then ni snake. Pwede din siyang kainin ni big bird. And then, in case of this caterpillar, pwede siyang kainin siya ni small bird, pwede din siyang kainin ni frog, and then, kung hindi siya nakain as a caterpillar, pwede siyang mag-evolve as butterfly or any species, and then kakainin siya ni frog, and then from frog, pwede siyang kainin ni eagle, and then ni snake. So, nakikita nyo yung relationship ng ating mga living organisms sa isa't isa. And this is, again, an example of a great food web. Okay? Claro? So, let's move on to our activity. Okay. So, sa ating mga work example, sa ating lesson last time, meron tayong activities na pinabigay sa atin ng ating ALS teacher. So, meron dito, define the following term. So, all you need to do is to write the meaning of this 5 example here. So, ano nga ba si ecosystem? Yan, nabinggit ko kanina. Ano si predation? Yan. Si symbiosis, si commensalism, and of course, si mutualism. All you need to do is to write the meaning of these 5 activities on the activity sheet or work samples natin na pinamigay ni ALS teacher. Okay? And then next, let's have a quick review para malaman natin what is the difference of food chain and food web. So here, food chains follows a single path as animals to each other. So, single lang siya. Okay? Single path lang siya. Meron lang siyang isang sequence. Okay? And then, while food web show how plant and animal are interconnected by different paths. So, napakadali lang pala, Pam, na i-identify si food chain at saka si food web. So, again, si food chain, meron lang siyang single path, single sequence, while food web has to interconnected or food web interconnects to the plants and animals and it has a different paths. Pwedeng magkainan yung yung mga animals around the ecosystem. Okay? Let's move to the activity 2. Alright, napaka-simple naman ng activity nito. Okay? Write in the blank the correct relationship between the 2 organisms listed. Here, isusulat natin kung ano nga ba yung relationship ng dalawang organism. So, pwede natin siyang i-list as predation, parasitism, commensalism, or mutualism. Okay? So, number 1, we do have hawk and snake. Ano nga ba si hawk and snake? So, it's either predation, parasitism, commensalism, or mutualism. Okay? Number 2, we do have lizard and mosquito. Just write the correct relationship between of the 2 organisms. And then number 3, we do have birds and flowers. Ano nga ba yung relasyon? Okay? Number 4, mosquitoes, and human. Parang kanina, may idea na ako dito Na-discuss ko to. Alam ko, makukuha nyo to. Number 5, we do have amoeba and humans. Okay? Parang nagbe-benefit lang yung isa, no? And then number 6, carabao and heron. Alright? And number 7, birds and trees. Number 8, meron tayong fish and worm. So again, choose lang predation, parasitism, commensalism, or mutualism. Okay? Number 9, snake and chicken. And last number, we do have mice and dog. Alright? So, answer it on your answer paper. Yung pinamigay ni Al's teacher. Okay? So, let's move. Activity number 3. Oy, napakadali. All we need to do is to indicate the level of which on each organism of this trophic structure below. So, isusulat lang natin kung ano nga ba sila. So, let's have some example. Meron tayong producer. Nasaan si producer? Hanapin lang. And then, next. Talagay lang natin kung anong level ng trophic structure yung nasa picture. Cool? Alright. Let's move to the activity number 4. Ay, napakadali. Mag-drawing lang pala. Alright. Draw inside the box a simple food web structure. Ayan yung mga may different part. Yan. Magdo-drawing lang tayo. Alright. And before we end this video, let's have a quick summary. So for today, we have discussed the ecosystem, food chain, and food web. So pinag-aralan natin si ecosystem. Ano nga ba si ecosystem? And then we discussed it. Pinag-aralan natin si symbiosis. Diniscuss natin kung ano si symbiosis at meron tayong classification with the symbiosis. Meron tayong predation, parasitism, and we classified symbiosis into 4. So we do have predation, parasitism, commensalism, and mutualism. And this symbiosis is the relationship range from mutually beneficial to harmful. And also we discussed the predation. In predation, one organism is killing the other organism for the food. So, meron tayong predator, which is the killer, and then the prey, which is the victim. Okay? And then, we discuss parasitism. The relation of this organism benefits at the expense of another organism. So, meron tayong from the word itself, parasite, and then meron tayong tinatawag na host. Wherein, si host, yung nagpo-provide ng food para kay parasite. And then, we also discussed the commensalism, wherein yung relationship itong dalawa na to, o yung relationship ng dalawang organism, ay kumbaga, partners sila, and then it's either they help each other nor harm each other. Okay? And then lastly, for the classification of symbiosis, we do have the mutualism. And there are two organisms living together and both benefiting from the relationship. Kumbaga silang dalawa, nagbe-benefit sila sa isa't isa. Okay? And also, we discussed the different stage of trophic structure. Meron tayong tinatawag na autotrophs, which means self-nourishment. It can produce its own food. And then we do have the what we call Heterotrophs, this implies to animal need to get food from another or different species. And then the best example for heterotrophs is what we call the animals, okay? And then we discuss also the different levels of trophic levels, wherein the producer is the leaf, yung leaf, and then we do have primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, and quaternary consumer. And then last part ng ating trophic structure, we do have this decomposer. And then under the food web naman, we simply discuss food web or describe food web as a food chain linked together. Kumbaga, naglilink lahat ng mga different types of living things into each other. Okay? And guys, thank you so much for watching this video para sa araw na ito. And guys, huwag kalilimutan mag-like, share, and subscribe sa ating YouTube channel. And thank you so much. I hope marami kayong natutunan pa sa ating lesson for today. And thank you so much. Paalam! See you next video tutorials!